The 18th century secret Satanic society, the Hellfire Club. In the 18th century, many societies and clubs emerged among the middle and upper classes in England. They formed social clubhouses that could socialize based on membership. At that time, there was no modern entertainment such as television or movie theaters. People mostly spend their free time in taverns or pubs. Some famous clubs, such as the Freemasons, were formed for people who control politics and the economy to this day. Then, the Hanover Club, whose members consisted of nobles and social elites with connections to the royal family. Through the Hanover Club, members can expand their social network, interact, and discuss current affairs. In Ireland, there is the Aughrim Club, whose members consist of nobles, social elites, and important Irish figures. The club is named after the Battle of Aughrim that occurred in 1691. Members gather to share ideas, socialize, and discuss. There is one controversial and notorious secret social club in the UK and Ireland, the Hellfire Club. Rumors of the club's deviant activities appeared in 1760 after being published in Chrysal, or The Adventures of a Guinea. The Hellfire Club was formed amidst polite society and Enlightenment philosophies that led many Hellfire Club members to question the restrictions and limitations of society. Just like other clubs, the Hellfire Club was also made up of elite and important people in Britain and Ireland. So, this time we will talk about the Hellfire Club in more depth. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. The Hellfire Club was founded in England and Ireland. It is strongly associated with Sir Francis Dashwood, a flamboyant genius and pervert. Nonetheless, he was an able politician who became a member of the Parliament of Great Britain and served as a Chancellor of the British Exchequer. But Dashwood was not the founder. Philip, the first Duke of Wharton, founded the Hellfire Club in England in 1719. He was a libertine who drank to excess and rejected social norms in the mid-18th century. It was he who attracted the nobles to a lifestyle that deviated from the norm. The purpose of this club is to mock religion. The club leader is called the Devil, and members are instructed to dress as biblical characters. They perform satirical religious ceremonies and enjoy festival dishes such as Devil's Loin, Holy Ghost Pie, and Breast of Venus. When the Hellfire Club was established, Dashwood was too young to join. Eventually, he formed a cultural interest organization for the elite called the Dilettanti Society. The qualification for new members was that they had to travel to Italy and attend a British high society event called the Grand Tour. During that time, they must spend their time in a state of unconsciousness due to severe intoxication. Although it does not have a rigid organizational structure, the Dilettanti Society is chaired by Sir Francis Dashwood and Lord Middlesex. They often spent their time in Italy while drunk out of their minds. In 1721, the Hellfire Club was suppressed and banned by King George I. Eventually, the club's activities were moved across the Irish Sea to the smaller of the two islands in the Atlantic Islands. When Irish landlord rule was conquered in the early 17th century, a century later, the governing class in Ireland was dominated by Protestants of English descent known as the Protestant Ascendancy. Through economic, social, and cultural apartheid, they were able to dominate the island and enrich themselves. They had so much free time that there were many clubs near the capital city of Dublin, including the Hellfire Club 20 years after Philip Wharton founded it. In Ireland, the Hellfire Club was founded in 1737 and abandoned in 1740. Their activities became increasingly deviant and excessive. Not only were they getting drunk, they were also engaging in satanic rituals and religious blasphemy. In 1738, a letter containing open mockery of the church was written by one of the club members using the nickname Moloch. Not only did the letter contain mockery, it contained descriptions of the Hellfire Club's practices, including the sacrifice of girls. This meant the taking of girls' virginity, and any member who wanted to join had to make the following declaration. Pluto, I am thine, I, by thy efficacious mighty self, do swear all that is called good by priesthood false entirely to abandon, and to let nothing share the least part of my favor, but what is solely urged by most vicious and libidinous desires. The club members often met at a remote country cottage located in the Wicklow Mountains, south of Dublin city called Montpellier Hill. Around the 1730s, the cottage was sold by Lord Wharton, the founder of the first Hellfire Club, to one of the heads of the Irish branch of the Hellfire Club, William Connolly. Every night along Cork Hill is very crowded and somewhat dangerous, as it is not only a favorite of the Hellfire Club but also other clubs such as the Blasters Club, Freemasons, and others. According to a survey of Dublin's 18th century shop signs, there were more than 6 favorite taverns of the Hellfire Club, including the Eagle Tavern, the Three Cranes, Jacob's Ladder, the Cock and Punch Bowl, the Globe, and the Hoop. But the Hellfire Club's regular meetings are held at the Hunting Lodge on Montpelier Hill. Several coffee houses were also frequented by the Dilettante Society in the 18th century, such as Soliman's Coffee House, St. Lawrence's Coffee House, and one in front of the Eagle Tavern called Lucas's Coffee House. After being disbanded in 1740, around the 1950s, a new branch of the Hellfire Club was founded by the greedy Sir Francis Dashwood, who favored parallel promiscuity activities. It was originally known as Sir Francis Dashwood's Club and was named after the Order of the Frates of St. Francis of Wickham. Its members were called the Medmenham monks because they met at the old Cistercian monastery on the banks of the River Thames. However, the name remembered in history is the Hellfire Club. To fulfill his purpose, in 1751 Dashwood rented and rebuilt the ruins of Medmenham Abbey not so far from London. A club motto was carved into the stained glass window at the entrance, "Fais ce que tu voudras," meaning, do what you want. The club enjoys drunken debauchery, gambling and practicing immoral activities, and dark arts such as murder, human sacrifice, and devil worship. According to Dashwood, the club matches its ancestors' orgiastic depravity and drunkenness. According to an English writer named Horace Walpole, they were strict pagans. Venus and Bacchus were the gods they frequently sacrificed and often conducted church festivals with nymphs and barrels of wine. Wearing masks and robes, club members cross the River Thames in a gondola to the abbey. Upon arrival, they are greeted by a mixture of sulfur and brandy for the dark gods to drink. The religious ritual has been performed periodically by the Wharton Group, the first founders of the Hellfire Club. Artworks by William Hogarth depicting the erotic activities of the club members decorate the walls. The library is filled with famous pornographic works of the time, one of which is John Cleland's 1749 Memoirs of a Woman of Pleasure. The Hellfire Club has no formal organizational structure. It was simply created for people who shared a common interest in hedonistic pleasure and self-indulgence with the intention of entertaining themselves and shocking society. However, some complementary ceremonial roles do exist, such as James Worsdale, who was appointed Master of the Revels of the Dublin Hellfire Club. Some influential figures became members of this club, such as John Wilkes, a British journalist and politician, John Montagu, inventor of the sandwich, and an important figure of British politics. Thomas Potter, a member of the Parliament of Great Britain, George Doddington, a nobleman and politician, Benjamin Bates II, William Hogarth, and many more. It is known that Benjamin Franklin, the founding fathers of the United States, who composed the Declaration of Independence of the United States in 1776, and the Constitution of the United States, was also a member of the Hellfire Club. He once stayed at Medmenham Abbey during a meeting and was granted privileges as a Hellfire member. The club only meets twice a year, but the annual meeting can be held for a week in June or September. Members are encouraged to bring female guests of a cheerful and lively disposition. As written in the Nocturnal Revels of, which is said to have been written by one of the monks of the Order of St. Francis. No vows of celibacy were required either by the ladies or the monks, the former considering themselves as the lawful wives of the brethren during their stay within the monastic walls. Every monk being religiously scrupulous not to infringe upon the nuptial alliance of any other brother. They also engaged in satanic rituals and made deals with demons. They often meet to drink scalthine, a mixture of hot whiskey with melted butter served in a silver punch bowl. The satanic rituals were performed while drunk on scalthine. Excessive drinking events organized by the Hellfire Club in public places often led to violent and sexual assaults. Once it even led to murder. These acts that deviated from medieval norms attracted a lot of attention. Jonathan Swift condemned the Hellfire Club and described them as a brace of monsters, blasphemers, and bacchanalians, of whom Worsdale was the leader. More and more rumors emerged about the club's activities, like the embarrassing incident of presenting a baboon dressed as the devil. When the baboon was released from its crate, John Wilkes was so frightened that he asked the devil for help while saying that he was half a sinner. Additionally, many tourists swarm around the island. They tried to catch members and record the activities of the Hellfire Club. Eventually, Dashwood moved the club's activities to a tunnel and series of meadows under Dashwood Park in West Wickham. The Hellfire Club was abandoned in 1766, its membership records and reports bringing ruin to its members' political careers. But in 1781, Joseph Anderson, a nephew of Dashwood, founded an upgraded version of the Hellfire Club. He gave it the name Phoenix Society at St. John's College, Oxford. The members of the club consisted of Oxford University students, and they carried out various activities in the tradition of the previous Hellfire Club in an exclusive and mysterious manner. Their activities in Oxford continue more than 240 years later. Similarly, the Hellfire Club in Ireland has links with University College in Dublin and Trinity College in Dublin,